While the Classic Golf Clubs channel is primarily about UK-made clubs, I'm aware that there are many viewers in America and have been promising to include something for you for a while. Hopefully this video will be of interest. We have a look at Ben Hogan and his partnership with Slazenger. As usual, there'll be a review of a set of clubs and then some history relating to those clubs. Here are the times if you want to skip ahead. There'll also be a subsequent video where I'll play a few holes with the clubs shown in the review. Okay, time to look at the clubs that I'm going to be playing. Beginning with the driver and the fairway wood. The driver I've featured before, in fact I've featured both of these before so we won't linger too long. This is a Dunlop Peter Thompson and it's the Contour Sole model, I'm 99% sure of that, which came out in 1962. Nice insert there with the chevron in red and black. It would have had a crown decal there, but that's been removed when the club was restored. The shaft on this one is a Dunlop Power Flow. Doesn't give any stiffness or anything. There's the remains of the True Temper shaft band there, which would have given the flex, but that part has obviously fallen away. It's also been re-gripped with a lambkin wrap type grip. Now we'll have a look at the fairway wood. I'm sure I've featured this one before. It's a Bobby Lock, Slazenger Bobby Lock 262 model, 3.5 wood. Half woods were seen quite a lot back in the 1950s, 60s, even into the 1970s. Exactly what benefit that gave to a player, I'm not sure, because sort of half would only be 1 or 2 degrees difference between the full 3 and the 4. But it's a nice head, painted finish with the Bobby Lock decal there, Bobby Lock signature, and a nice red, white, red insert. So that's the woods. Let's have a look at the irons then. And I've been promising I'd do something with an American interest. Let's have a quick look at these. We've got 2 models here. We've got the Hogan Plus One and the Hogan, I think it's the PC2, but in the UK it was called the FR7 for some reason. I'll double check that because I'm talking from memory there, but I'm pretty sure that the club here, which is the 2 iron, is the FR7, as I say, which was the UK version of the PC2. It's a blade on blade style, so we've got a small blade on a larger blade. That's the way it's often described, blade on blade. Nice face with a bit of frosting on the grooves. Decent sized sole. Nice ferrule. I think this is the same ferrule that was used in America as well. Red, blue, red. So if we come down to the shaft on this, we've got Slazenger Ben Hogan shaft band there, and we've got a True Temper regular flex. True Temper graded. If we look at the actual clubs that I'm really reviewing, which are the Hogan Plus Ones here, bounce sole version. Again, it's a blade on blade style with this grooving on the top of the back of the head. On the sole, we've got 3 Slazenger. I've had Slazenger on this one as well. So that's one way of telling that they're Slazenger. The other one is that all Slazenger clubs, Slazenger Hogan clubs, are stainless steel, whereas I'm pretty sure that at this time all the Hogan clubs produced in America would have been chromed steel. So it's quite a big difference. I think the reason for this was that in the UK stainless steel had been in use for a long time before it became accepted in America. Again, we've got the same ferrule on the club as the ferrule on the FR7. On the face then we've got frosted grooves again and diamonds framing the grooves. Shaft on this one, again it's a Slazenger Ben Hogan shaft. It says made in England in the smaller text there. True Temper product, and it's a number 2 flex. Now I know that the Apex shaft, which came out in the late 1960s I think, did use 1 for the softest and up to 4 or 5 for the firmest flex. I think this one predates that, and 2 I'm pretty sure is a regular flex on this one. If anybody knows otherwise, please comment below. So that's the 3-iron. Also here we have the 5, 7, 9, and we should have a equaliser and an exploder. I've got the exploder, but I don't have the equaliser for the set. I'll show you the club I'll be using in its place in a moment. But the exploder, the trouble club or the sand club, decent sole on it, nice bit of bounce there. So yeah, it's got the same shaft bands, Slazenger Ben Hogan and True Temper. I didn't look at the grip on the previous one, so I'll do that with the exploder here. And this is a original grip. We can see the Slazenger grip collar there, and on the end, it's a Slazenger Hogan Tour Pride and a patent number. So that's definitely the original grip. It's the Hogan style grip, and there we can see the, if I can catch the light on that properly, the Ben Hogan medallion there, and it's the same style of grip that was used in America. So I assume that these were shipped across from America for Slazenger to put onto the clubs after they built them, using the stainless steel heads which were produced at Slazenger's Horbury factory. I'm pretty sure that these would be forged. Slazenger did have a forge at the Horbury factory, and they do look like a forged head rather than a cast head. I said that I'm short of the equaliser, so for the equivalent to that, equaliser was pretty much the pitching wedge in a Ben Hogan set. So I'm going to be playing similar sort of period, a little bit earlier, a Dunlop Peter Thompson Retriever. So yeah, that's the wedge that I'll be playing as part of the set. Okay, I'll talk a little bit more about the Ben Hogan and Slazenger relationship after we finish reviewing the clubs. But for now, let's pause there and move on to the putter. And here is the putter. Slazenger did produce Ben Hogan putters based on the Ben Hogan designs. This isn't one of those. It is a Slazenger putter though. As you can see on the sole there, Slazenger. It's a very distinctive style. It's a nice weighted club, easy to line up. I would guess that it was produced probably late 1950s, early 1960s. We've got quite a long hosel on there, which is distinctive of that time. The shaft itself is just a stepped shaft. If there was a shaft band on there, it's long since gone. It has been re-gripped with a Golf Pride Tour wrap. I do like that grip, so I'm more than happy to leave that on there. So that's the putter. Nice, straightforward, bladed, centre shafted putter. Ben Hogan is acknowledged as one of golf's great competitors. Determined and dedicated, honing his swing through untold hours of practice until he was one of the most accurate and reliable ball strikers ever seen. His list of achievements is long and impressive. There is much on the internet about his career, so I'm not going to go into details, but here's a quick summary. Ben Hogan was born in 1912 in Stephenville, Texas. He turned professional in 1930, not quite 18 years old, and joined the tour in 1931. He struggled in his early years as a pro and went broke on more than one occasion. It wasn't until 1940 that Hogan won his first individual professional tournament, but he cemented his arrival by winning the next two he entered as well. In his early playing career, Hogan was always battling a pronounced hook, which he finally overcame through hard work on the practice ground. Hogan's record in PGA competitions and the majors is very impressive, especially when one considers that he lost several years due to the Second World War and another year after his well-documented accident. Ben Hogan and his wife Valerie almost lost their lives in a road accident in 1949 when their car was in a head-on collision with a Greyhound bus. Ben Hogan suffered serious injuries and was hospitalised for almost 2 months. Many accounts are given about how serious the injuries were, but recent work using contemporary newspaper reports tells a slightly different story to the usual. I'll put a link to an excellent website where this research can be found, along with further investigation of Hogan's records and myths, again using original newspaper reporting from the time. For much of his early career, Hogan played McGregor clubs, but towards the end of 1953, after his famous Triple Crown of Majors, Ben Hogan started his own golf company in Fort Worth, Texas, with the intention of making the best golf clubs possible. Hogan insisted that the clubs meet the highest standards and they were aimed at the better players. But being the perfectionist he was, the business almost folded before it had even got going. It's often told how he insisted that the entire first production run be scrapped because they didn't meet his standards, almost ruining the company in the process and scaring investors. And it wasn't until 1955 that the first clubs were released for retail sale. In 1960, Hogan sold his company to AMF, American Machine and Foundry, but remained with the company as chairman for several years. The Hogan name has subsequently changed hands several times, but the Ben Hogan Golf Equipment Company now operates as a successful company running a direct-to-customer sales system and is focusing on the past ethos of the company to produce fine quality equipment. Another important milestone in Hogan's life was his writing of one of the classics of golf instruction, The Modern Fundamentals of Golf, more commonly known as the 5 Lessons. Sales have exceeded 10 million and it is still in print today. But where does the name of Slazenger fit into all of this? The partnership with Slazenger started fairly early in the history of the Hogan Company. It would appear that either late 1956 or early 1957, an agreement was made for Slazenger to produce and sell Hogan products in the European and Australian markets. The first of these was the Precision model, as can be seen in this advert which appeared in the February 1957 edition of Svensk Golf. The headline reads, "This year's big news," and the caption says, "Michael McMaster, Slazenger's chairman, and Ben Hogan are here reviewing the first Slazenger copy of Ben Hogan's simply amazing clubs." This advert appeared the following month. The text reads as follows: Ben Hogan's sensational model at a European price. Polished stainless steel, weight concentrated in the lower part of the head, club head made for English ball size. What they meant by that, I've no idea. Slight gooseneck between shaft and club head, oil-tempered persimmon wood blocks, grip of American two-colour type, true temper rocket shafts, a Slazenger product of the highest quality. An important point to note from that advert is the first comment, polished stainless steel. This was a big point of difference in the Slazenger produced clubs compared to those of the Hogan Company in America, which used carbon steel with a chrome plated finish. As far as I can tell, all Slazenger Hogan irons were made from stainless steel, and I believe that this was forged rather than cast, as Slazenger certainly had a forge at their Horbury works in Yorkshire. From this first model onwards, many but not all of the Hogan models were produced by Slazenger, often a year or two after their release in America, and we'll look at these more closely later. Slazenger also produced left-handed versions of many of the early models, which wasn't always the case with those made in America by Hogan. So if you're looking for a left-handed set of an early model, then the Slazenger version may be your only option. The partnership between Slazenger and Hogan lasted for 20 years, so I can only assume that both parties were happy with how it worked out. But for some reason it ceased around the end of 1976 or the start of 1977, as this article from Golf Monthly magazine, April 1977 shows. Time now to take a look at some of the Hogan irons sold by Slazenger. To start, we have the Precision, first seen in 1957. Then the very similar Sabre. Then the Power Thrust. Although the shafts and grips are marked by Slazenger, the heads aren't, so I wonder if these were imported. Then we have the IPT, which also only has Slazenger on the shafts and the grips. The FR7, equivalent of the PC5 model. This one is stamped Slazenger. Next up, the +1 bounce sole, as already reviewed. Then the 1 Plus bounce sole. And a Hogan classic, the Apex. And the 1973 Apex. The Director, the Hogan version of which was released in 1974, so right at the end of the Slazenger Hogan partnership. To end, we have a couple of oddities. Slazenger had the sales rights for Europe and for Australasia. Australia and New Zealand seem to have produced a few of their own Hogan designs. Here is their power thrust. Looks like a cross between the Precision and the Hogan power thrust. And this is the Championship, which I can't find a Hogan equivalent for anywhere. During the partnership, Slazenger also produced a wide range of persimmon woods featuring the Hogan name. I apologise for not featuring these, but it's the irons that really interest me. Well, that about rounds things off, I think. I'll just finish with the lofts of the clubs as measured, which I'll be playing in part 2 of this video. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you for part 2.